I am here for many reasons, actually. I am an independently licensed substance abuse counselor here in the state of Arizona. I see the devastation of illicit drugs and addiction on a daily basis. I am also in recovery, so I know the strength and determination that it takes to overcome addiction. Not an easy feat. And it's personally hit my family as we have lost my youngest sister to fentanyl poisoning. My youngest sister, Lindsay, she has struggled with mental health and substance abuse the majority of her life. She unfortunately got in with the wrong crowds. She was friends with people that were doing drugs because of the bullying in high school and grade school, and I did not find that out until later on. I was adopted, and I did not personally meet my biological family until 2012. So I don't really know all of how Lindsay grew up other than what my mom has shared. She has written a long story called A Day in the Life of a Mother Who's Lost Her Child, and shared that Lindsay was a very caring, loving child, that she just wanted to be loved. The simple things that, like a Easter bunny, a stuffed bunny at Easter made her happy. And my sister just wanted to be loved, much like many people, and unfortunately went to the wrong crowds. My mother sent her out here in 2017. She had an addiction to methamphetamine. My sister was gender fluid, so to me that meant that she didn't care what sex her partner was. It was about the inside, and that's what Lindsay always looked at, was who you were inside, and just wanted that love. And so it didn't matter if it was a male or female. She changed her appearance throughout time. Sometimes she was a little bit more on the feminine side, sometimes not so much, just depending on what partner she was with at the time. So when she came out here in 2017, she had been with a female that she was doing meth with. My mom sent her out here. She lived with me. I took her in to get her back on her mental health medication, to hopefully that was going to help the situation. And it did for a little while, but then she got lonely. She ended up on a dating site and found a woman down in Tucson, and then ended up moving to Tucson. From there, it just kind of reads like a big soap opera, to be honest with you. So she ended up marrying the woman, and then something happened in their relationship, and they started using drugs together and did not know that she was doing fentanyl at the time. I was told that they were doing meth. She ended up meeting her wife's best friend. Then she ended up moving out with him. They ended up being homeless. They were living in a car. She was getting in trouble for shoplifting and drug paraphernalia. All the things that come along with addiction to feed the addiction. You do what you can to survive. And then she ended up getting pregnant. So my sister had a little girl, and that little girl was addicted to fentanyl and methamphetamine. She was in ICU for a couple of weeks, withdrawing. And of course, DCS became involved and asked us to go pick up the child. So we picked up that little girl when she was 2 weeks old and brought her back, and raised her for the first 10 months of her life. And DCS made all the arrangements for my sister to come and visit along with her boyfriend by taxi from Tucson to Mesa, which is a long taxi drive, every Saturday for a 4-hour visit, and they did not manage to make one visit. So my sister held that little girl for the last time when she was 7 days old. On September the 12th, 2022, I was here at work. I received a phone call from the boyfriend, and he had told me that my sister was having a severe asthma attack. She was in the hospital. they wouldn't give him any information, and that he asked me to call to find out what was going on with her. I called my mom. I was on break in group. I called my mom and I said, Mom, listen, Lindsay's in the hospital. She had a severe asthma attack. And so you need to call. And my mom called me back, and I will never get that scream out of my head of my mother telling me I needed to get to Tucson, that my sister was dying. So I left immediately, forgot half of the things I needed, got down to ICU in Tucson about 8:20 that night, and she was on a respirator, and she looked horrible. She was being kept alive by machines. The nurse told me that she did not have an asthma attack. She overdosed on fentanyl. They did a brain scan about an hour after she had gotten to the hospital, and they couldn't tell the difference between the gray and white matter of her brain. And so she was basically brain dead. My mom and my stepdad, Lindsay's dad and his wife, my brother and his girlfriend, my aunt and uncle, all of us went to be by her bedside as they ran tests to make sure that she was never going to be the same. And she was never going to be the same. So as a family, we decided to take her off of life support. And the end of care nurse came in and she said, did you know that Lindsay is an organ donor? She registered in Missouri. That did not surprise us because of the type of person that Lindsay was. And could we give them some hours to get the transplant team together and harvest her organs and find some recipients? And they were able to take her kidneys. She saved 2 people's lives with her kidneys, and they took her pancreas for research. She did have asthma, so they couldn't take her lungs, and I believe she had a leaky heart valve, so they couldn't take her heart. They did an honor walk. They lined the hallways, and all 10 of us stood there. And they told us when they take her off the respirator that, you know, if you have a weak stomach or you can't handle it, that you should go ahead and step out, because sometimes they gasp when they take the respirator out, and she did not do that. She did not even attempt to take one breath. And we watched her heartbeat and go on and on and on for almost 6 minutes before her last heartbeat. So my mom came back here with us, and she got to hold her granddaughter for the first time ever the day after we took my sister off life support. I asked the boyfriend to send me what was my sister's last 24 hours of her day, what did that look like? And he sent me an email, and he said that they had gotten up and they smoked their last pill. They went to an urgent care to try and get an inhaler for my sister. Some excuse that, you know, they couldn't verify her Medicaid and they didn't take her, and they went to 2 more, and that they couldn't get in to get her one, and so they went to a friend's house. This was on 9/11/2022 on a Sunday. He told me that they had gotten off the bus. They were walking up the stairs. My sister asked him to call 911. And according to him, he did. When we got the EMS report, they didn't get called till 12:23 in the morning. And her scan at 1:17, 1:18 in the morning showed lack of sufficient oxygen for over 8 hours. My mom's angry. She wants to blame him. It's all his fault. Look what he did. He said he was going to take care of her. They ended up homeless, car got towed, nebulizer was in it, inhalers were in it. Most parents want to blame somebody. I find that to be very true, especially since my sister passed. I started a nonprofit. I go and I do awareness events with other families, hand out Narcan, fentanyl test strips, resources, emojis from the DEA so that families know what to look for in the social media, the symbols. Just to spread awareness. I do graphics for other parents. We have a web page. We have a Facebook page. We are always honoring anyone that has passed away. No judgment, you know, and it's sad for me because I see on Facebook a lot of families arguing about if you would have raised your child better, or if you would have, you know, done this or that, or why did you kick them out, or why didn't you kick them out? And what I do know to be true in addiction is that someone's not going to stop until they're ready. And fentanyl poisoning is so different than any other substance that's been around. There's always going to be addiction, but fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. There's nothing like it. It's hard to get off of. It isn't that they didn't choose their family. They chose their drugs over their family. It's not even that. And anybody who says that is ignorant to the grips of addiction. I feel that if people don't know about something, get educated or don't talk about it. You don't know what you're talking about. It isn't easy. Not at all. Because some of these people are doing it just to stay well, and they have no other option. But there's no one-size-fits-all to this solution, right? Some people say harm reduction is enabling. Some people say it's saving lives. Some people say letting them stay in your home is enabling them to continue their bad behavior. And some are saying kick them out. You know, like there's nothing that works specifically, just like I'd be a gazillionaire if I ever had that solution. But it's a combination of things. But I do know that if you're not there and you're not supporting your family, or that they know that you're going to be there, that connection is so important to them. And when you threaten that, and when you take that away, then what do they have to work towards, or why would they do it? Or they feel alone. And it's the shame and guilt that keeps people in their addiction, because they don't want to go admit to someone that, hey, I might have a problem, or let you down or disappoint you. There's a lot of stigma, and these people need to stop being judgmental and saying such rude and hurtful things to each other. We should be tackling this all together as a team, but I see dividing all over the place. He said, she said, don't be her friend. They said this. They did. Like, I'm tired of that. I don't participate in that, and I won't. I haven't got time. I'm too busy trying to do things that matter. But these people, it seems like they got nothing better to do than stir up bullshit and hurt somebody. Like, I don't get it. I get you're hurting, but be supportive to someone else who's hurting too. Us siblings, we have a whole different grief than these parents, right? Because we've lost our sibling, even though I didn't grow up with Lindsay, but I would have loved to have grown up with her because she seems like she was such a kind, caring person, and she loved animals. Oh my God, she brought her dog out here with her in a little bag, you know, on the plane. But she was an animal lover, and I would have loved to have grown up with her, but I didn't get that opportunity. But these people are all someone's kid. You know, how do you judge someone like that? Like, I just don't get it. And be hurtful. We need to support each other, but our grief is different because we've lost our parent in the capacity that we had them before. Because my mother will never be the same. She has written that 5-page letter about the grief she goes through just in one day. The thing's wondering if my sister knew, if she was there, when we took her off life support? Did she hear the doctors talking about it? The guilt that she feels for working and supporting the siblings and not being there for Lindsay when she needed her. She's got some guilt that's never going to go away. And the last sentence of that letter says, don't be sad for me when I go, because that is when I'm going to get my relief. Wow. That's sad. I see parents, I can't wait until I meet you again. I want to die. They want, like, it's sad. What about the rest of us kids that are here, you know? All I can do is be supportive. I don't know what it's like to lose a child, but all I can do is be there for her. And that's what everybody else needs to do for each other.